Hello and welcome back to Verbose Mode by TaxCare at Dev2Next in Colorado Springs. My next guest is Christina. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming. And you'll have a very intriguing topic to talk to us.
Yes.
Emotional resilience. When I hear it, I'm thinking about probably like thin skin.
Yeah.
That might be my first layman association, but
Sure.
is it that? Is it something else? What are we talking about?
You know, when we talk about emotional resilience, what we're talking about is our ability to adapt, how we bounce back from things, how we live a more hopeful life, right? And whenever we have challenges in life, which everybody does, it's the way that we use coping skills to come back more strong, more resilient, and to learn those life lessons so that we can cope better and feel more hopeful in the future.
I always thought that it is kind of a trait. It's like a hair color.
Yes.
You either bounce back or you don't.
Yeah, I
But-
felt like that too.
But it's not the case. It's actually something
It's really
you can
not.
learn.
And you know, somebody like me, I grew up in extreme poverty. I grew up with not having the tools. My parents were both working 2 jobs full time, and they just really didn't have the skills to teach me emotional resilience, emotional intelligence skills. And so actually, it's not an inherent trait. It's something that can be learned. And little by little, we can have these tools. The more tools we have in our toolbox, the more we can call upon them to cope during challenging times in our lives.
This is very interesting. What kind of tools are we talking about? I'm drawing blank. I have no idea. It's just like something that you pick yourself up and you keep going, or you don't.
Right.
But it's very interesting that
Well, that's
you
what
mentioned
it is.
tools.
We pick ourselves up and we keep going. But in the meantime, what does that look like? What do those processes look like? What types of strategies can we employ and start practicing so that they become a habit? So
I know one.
Yeah,
I know one.
yes,
I'm thinking
yes,
about
yes,
it.
yes.
I know one.
Uh-huh.
It's think about how you will look at this episode 6 months from now.
That's right. That's one. So you can visualize, right?
Yeah.
You can use guided imagery to look forward to the future as what you want the outcome to look like. And then what happens is we naturally start to accommodate the conditions to meet that goal at the end, right? Another thing we can do is we can visualize something by looking ahead in the future. We can plan a trip with our family. We can plan an outing or a date night with our partner, things like that. So we have something to look forward to. That's a good
I
coping
love
strategy.
planning travel.
Yes.
I never can explain why it gives me so much pleasure.
Yes.
But I love doing that. That was my favorite activity is actually planning
Exactly.
travel.
Yeah, because it gives us something to hope for in the future. We're visualizing the future. We're visualizing ourselves in our most optimum, state, and so it gives us more hope. Right.
Excellent.
Right.
Okay. Well, I didn't even
one
know
coping
that
mechanism.
I'm doing it.
Yeah, that's a coping strategy I'll talk about in my talk. Yeah, and there are different categories that we can think about. We can think about emotional types of strategies to cope with. We can think about physical kinds of things. We can think about biological things that are naturally happening. Arthur talked about a lot of this in his keynote as well earlier. And in my talk, we'll be talking about more specific strategies that I've used to overcome adversity in my life. As well, I've been a mentor for, about 13, 14 years for people in tech, for students, for people who are transitioning into tech, career development. And these are the types of strategies that I've used with my mentees, with my consulting clients, with my coaching clients. As well, I'm a mental health first aid trainer too. So my foundation that I sit on the board of directors for, we teach these types of strategies as well.
All right, let's make it very practical. Give me top 3 low-hanging fruits
Yeah.
that someone can do in times of
Yeah, and so
adversity.
what I really don't like is I don't like when people go, oh, you just need to meditate more,
Yeah.
or somebody's having an emotional crisis or a mental health crisis, and they go, oh, well, have you tried yoga? Right? Like, I'm barely hanging on right now in this moment. The last thing that I want to do is add another thing, right? And so just fast things that we can think about is, one thing is to focus on something beautiful in the moment. For me, this looks like is I will start to feel a panic attack coming up. And for me, it starts in my brain and my head, and I start to feel this whirling. My blood pressure my pulse increases. I start to get a little sweaty. One thing that we can do in that moment, if you can train your brain to think of something beautiful, focus on something beautiful in the moment. Well, I love this ring. This ring is a representation of dopamine, right?
You have good memories.
I have good memories with this ring, and I can pause. I could take out a picture of I could take out my phone. I have photos of my family, and I can look at photos of my children, and just that changes my chemistry in the moment. It's almost like when somebody is, you're treading water, and you're treading water, and you're coming up, and you get these little sips of air. We need that balance for when our nervous system is riled up to bring back our parasympathetic nervous
Fascinating.
system.
I know that my wife, when she's stressed, she's scrolling through photos.
Yeah.
And I was like always surprised like on this reaction, but now it actually
It makes
makes sense.
Biologically, physiologically, we are at a disadvantage. Normally when our senses sense something, right? We have our sight, sound, taste, we have a sense of hunger, we have a sense of time. Normally when our senses are overwhelmed, it's hard for us to kind of use our executive function, because biologically it's our limbic brain that gets the signal first, and so it's really difficult for that signal to come up through the cerebellum, our midbrain, up to our executive function or our prefrontal cortex, where we can start making decisions, because we're stuck in that limbic brain and it's going, hey, we're on fire, just like Arthur's talk.
Yep,
right?
yep.
So biologically, just scrolling through those happy memories changes our chemistry. Another thing that we can do is we can get up and move our body and walk to the kitchen, to the wherever, and drink a glass of ice cold water. Drinking a glass of ice cold water is way easier than, hey, have you tried yoga? Sitting down, meditating for 30 minutes every day out of your, right? It's way easier. And so again, that's a biological shift that will shift our brain and give us the signal to shift our nervous system, and our neurology will shift. And you don't even have to do anything, you just have to be willing to go slam that cold glass of water. I tell this to people, especially like if they're in a frustrating work environment and you don't know how to deal with things, because what happens is if we hold on to that anger and frustration, oftentimes the data tell us is that anger unexpressed will actually turn into depression. It'll go inward and it'll turn into depression.
Interesting about like expression of anger, there are those I don't know, activities that you're supposed to let your anger out.
Yeah.
It might be like punching a punching bag, or like going to a shooting range, or throw X's, or you name it.
Yeah.
And I think I heard kind of controversial opinions about it. Some people say that it's good because it's kind of a release, but others say that this actually perpetuates aggressive behavior.
Well, again, this is a nuanced situation, and I think people miss nuance a lot of times. It's so easy to make a blanket statement on social
Good or
media
bad.
and however many characters to fit the graphic meme in a square, right? Really, what I encourage people to do is, again, you don't have to get a gym membership. You don't have to take your body down to the axe throwing place and pay $60 and put on the shoes. In fact, when you're doing those kinds of things like punching a bag, you're training your brain to respond in anger with violence.
Here we go. Yeah.
Instead, here comes the nuance. Instead, what you can do in that moment, wherever you are, doesn't even matter, you can just drop down and do some push-ups. But the types of push-ups that I'm talking about is when you are there doing the push-up, do the push-ups on your knees if you can't do a full push-up. Do the push-ups against the wall standing up if you can't do a normal push-up. The point is that while you're doing the push-up is to push the building away from you. It's not you pushing your body away from the floor. It's you pushing the building away from you. And that exertion is a burst. Now that's not violent.
Wow.
That's exercise, right? You're actually building up your arm strength at the time. So that's a benefit too. And you didn't even have to go to the gym. And you certainly aren't, punching a bag or shooting or, having to spend a membership for breaking dishes. That's right. Exactly.
Fascinating.
Exactly.
This is amazing. This is amazing. Christina, where can we learn more?
Yeah, I'm lucky girly girl everywhere on the interwebs. And so I did write a book called Mastering Resilience because I'm a person who has a late diagnosis of a mental illness. I have a personality disorder, and there's no medication that will fix that. I've had to learn these strategies on my own, and that's what I'm going to be talking about is dealing with multiple personalities in my life at a late age. At age 41, I was diagnosed. And so I wrote a book called Mastering Resilience, and it has different strategies that you can use. And also my talk is online. You can go to NDC conferences, and this Adapting to Adversity talk is online, and it's about how I learned to live with chaos and how I learned how to thrive anyway and overcome my mental illness so that I can travel and function and be a mom and have a consulting company and be a board of director on a mental health foundation.
Yeah, no, this is great. Okay, so Mastering Resilience.
Mastering Resilience.
That's the book, and
on Amazon.
Yeah, and obviously your YouTube channel and everything else. So the YouTube channel is actually, you can see it on the scroll right under your screen, and on the description of this YouTube video as well. Christina, thank you very much.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
That was very interesting.
Thanks.
And for you folks, stay tuned for more episode of the Verbose Mod Attacks here at Dev2Next, coming to you very, very soon. Thank you, and bye-bye.
Thanks.